Okay, welcome to part 5 of this module on decision making. Now you've seen and heard an overview of the 7 steps of this decision making model that I just explained. And going forward now throughout the rest of this module, we're going to be going through each of those 7 steps of the decision making model one step at a time. And I'm going to have a short video clip for each part that explains that step of the decision making model and then gives you an opportunity to apply that step to an actual decision that you're facing. So the rest of this module, we're going to be going through those 7 steps, which means that you need to have a decision in mind right now that you're going to work through for the rest of this module. It needs to be a decision that's important to you, that you have not already made a decision about, that you don't already know what you will do and what the decision will be, but it needs to be a decision that's important enough to you that you want to think through it and use this process to come up with the best decision you can. So please make sure you've got a good decision in mind to go through the rest of this module so that you can really apply it and help the learning to really take hold. So the first step of this 7-part decision-making model is to identify stakeholders. So what does it mean to identify key stakeholders? It means finding out and figuring out and thinking about who are the key people that really need to be involved in making this decision. Who do we need to involve in making this decision? All right, again, we're talking more about a consultative and or consensus decision-making process, where that implies that there are other people that need to be involved in the process. Questions we can ask to identify key stakeholders are things such as, well, who might be impacted by this decision and therefore need to be represented in the decision. If people are going to be impacted by it, there's a good chance that you need to consider them and get their input and allow their voice to be heard in this decision-making process. So who are those people? Another group to consider is who will be involved in implementing this decision after we've made it. So we might make a decision and then other people have to actually implement the decision and do work because of it. Well, it's a good chance that some of those people might need to be involved in the decision-making process as well. Another group to think about is who might have to pay for this decision. So if it's going to cost money, who's paying for it? And do we need to involve those people in being involved in the decision in some way as well? And the last thing to consider is what kind of people do we need to involve who might have great background in this area, expertise, or information that we need. So these are some of the questions to consider as you're thinking about identifying key stakeholders to involve in some point during the decision-making process. And that's where we begin. Now, as I said, we each need to have our own decision that we're going to work through. I'm going to use an example from my own life as I go through this teaching as well. So I'm going to focus on my network, the ALLC, the Asia Leaders Learning Community. One question, big question that we had a couple years ago was, we know we want to offer an annual leadership summit. And our question was, our decision was, where should we offer this leadership summit year after year after year? So that was a big decision we faced. And we worked through this model to try to come up with a good answer, a good decision. So I'm going to use that as we apply it to this model as we walk through the 7 steps. And basically for this situation, for this decision for us, where should we hold our annual leadership summit every year? We basically decided, well, we need to involve our YWAM elders. So our ALLC elders, absolutely, as well as the national and geographical leaders and elders throughout YWAM, because they need to be engaged and involved in encouraging their people to develop as leaders, and they need to be encouraged to come to these leadership summits. So we need to know from them where and when would be best for them to hold a leadership summit as well. So we decided National Geographic leaders, elders, our ALLC elders, those are kind of the key stakeholders that we want to involve in making our decision about where to hold an annual leadership summit. So how about you?